Like many of you, we battle depression during life's ups and downs.
Music has always been the one thing that we could rely on to get us through the tough times that we all face.
Follow us on our journey as we discuss the healing power of music,
Interview bands,
break down genres,
review band biographies,
and more.
This is the When Words Fail
Music Speaks podcast
with Blake Mosley
and James Cox. Hey everybody, welcome back to the When Words Fail Music Speaks podcast, where we fight depression with the power of music. I'm your handicapped host, James Cox, along with Amanda Dolin. She is a current resident here and forever, and we are so excited to interview a musician. She is from Sydney, Australia, but now she lives in, I think you said California? Right, yes. So, Michele, how are you doing today?
G'day, guys. Lovely to see you. Lovely to be with you today, James and Amanda. Hello.
Yes, it is great. And so to our listeners, this is Michele Blood. She is way more than just a musician. She has had a great career as a rock singer in Australia. But then one fateful night, she was in a horrific road accident where she was in the hospital for months and months. And after many long operations, Michele discovered something that transformed her consciousness and healed her body. Something that had never been done before. So now she's here to tell us all about what helped her heal and how she continues to help people live out their lives of their dreams and get all the things they want.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well said.
So just by talking to you right now, I find you very, very positive, you know, and I welcome that on the show. So thank you for coming on the show. Although our schedules didn't link up last week, but it's fine. You know, we're here right now. So thank you again for coming on.
No, thanks for your patience with that. Thanks, guys.
Oh yeah. Anytime.
Sometimes I think it all works out just the way it's supposed to. Right? Like the universe lines everything up. Because I wasn't supposed to be here, but my client that I had scheduled for right now rescheduled for tomorrow, and so I got to be here. I mean, really, it was like 5 minutes before we hopped on. I was like, I could be there. So I'm so excited because I have all kinds of questions for you.
First question that we have for you today is I'm curious to know. So when you lived in Sydney, Australia, that's where you grew up. I think that seeing kangaroo is like seeing deer here, there, everywhere, correct? Because I haven't seen any kangaroos besides the zoo.
Well, not in the city, no.
Okay. Well, I mean in the outskirts, or you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, they've like where I live now in California, there's deer signs, and in Australia, because there's just miles and miles and miles of land in between cities in Australia because it's such a huge country with not many people that live there. So there's koala signs, you know, watch them walking across the road, and there's kangaroo signs everywhere, always, you know, watch out for the kangaroos. I hit a kangaroo once, but it was so big, it dented the front of my car, and but it was okay. It hopped off. It was at nighttime, and it was like, oh my God, they are big buggers, these big red kangaroos, not like the little wallabies that we have on, you know, the kids' TV shows. Like, no, these are big buggers. They're so big.
So my college mascot was the kangaroos.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So like we were the fighting roos, and like our little, you know, we hopped along. It was, but I mean, they're vicious. They can fight. Kangaroos can't. They're strong and powerful.
Yeah, they won't attack a human, but they'll just hop away. But when they've got to fight each other, you know, like male domination and all that sort of stuff, and their tails are incredibly strong. They can sit right back and just kick. You know, it's incredible. Watch some documentaries. I think they're amazing. Oh, yeah. Amazing, unusual. The most unusual animals in the world are in Australia.
Nice.
They're just platypuses and koalas and wow.
Wow, yeah.
Weird.
Yes. I mean, no, the animals in Australia are pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're very unique to the world. Yeah.
I know that so you were a rock musician, like that's how you got your start.
Yeah.
So is that still like the music that speaks the most to you, or what's like your favorite genre of music out there?
I like so much music.
Good.
you know, of course I love rock music, rock pop. Actually, I was a rock pop singer-songwriter. But no, because I started singing professionally from the age of 5 on TV. So I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm still doing it. But I don't know. It's like I love Nirvana. I love
Man,
That's James's favorite.
Oh my God!
you know,
dude.
I love Nirvana. I love the message. I think it's brilliantly produced songs and written songs. I love Casey and the Sunshine Band because it's so happy, and it's my era of the disco. I love disco dancing and working out to, you know, 70s and 80s disco. And you know, I love Mozart. I love meditation music. And I love my music.
I think you should be a fan of your own music, and yeah. So I mean, we're a fan of this podcast.
No,
but,
I'm not like
yeah.
Cher. Cher always says, I'm not a fan of Cher's. I don't like her voice. And I'm like, you can't say that. You're Cher.
Right.
She's like, I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. Yeah.
you know, I like a lot of different music, and it depends on like where I am and what's
Yeah.
happening in my life. And you know, because my gym music is very different than the music I listen to when I'm working or in the car or cooking dinner or really sad, or, you know, right? There's so many different musics.
So, do you pull your the way you write music? Do you pull that from different genres? Because in your song "Success," that's a like pop funky kind of vibe that I get, and then "Synergy" reminds me of the '80s. So do you?
Yes,
do you pull
Synergy's a
that-
real disco song, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fun song to listen to.
And
yeah.
then I've got 𝗟𝗢𝗥𝗡 on Me that I did with Kino from Big Mountain.
Mhm.
And I wrote the song and we sang it in Spanish. So that's a whole different feel
Ooh,
again.
Yeah.
And when I write a song, I don't think of the music. The melody and the words come straight out for the chorus for me. And then I work on the verse and the music and what sort of fit is going to be, because it's still, you know, it's like people say, oh, what genre are you? And I'm positive thinking music now. It's all positive. I had some hit records years ago that you can see on YouTube
Right.
that were before my car accident, which like Mere Dust Without You and Remember Me, I'll Be Waiting, and all this sort of crap. But anyway, and some fun ones too, but still, you know, it was when I hit, when my band really started making it and doing a lot of videos and everything, was the 80s,
Mhm.
you know, so
Yeah.
it was 80s rock pop sort of stuff, which I loved. I love that 80s music. I think it's really happy, fun music, you know, I just
Right.
love it.
Well,
Even
the thing that I really love about you and your music is it's so diversified between genres, and I think that many bands stick to one genre because that's what thing that sells. When it's like, no, I mean they don't want to stray away from too far from their original meaning because they think it's gonna make them break them, you know, and that's simply not
I
true.
can't do that because
Yeah.
I think, you know, all the songs I've ever done, they just sound like me because it's my voice. And maybe they're different types of, you know, ballad or more of a heavy rock song, or, you know, it's like, yeah, I think it's pretty easy when you, like, I was in a cover band, had my own cover band that became really like super successful cover band.
Right.
For years. We traveled one stop at one stage, 7 years nonstop. We were writing our originals at the same time, and we would do original gigs as well, but the cover gigs were huge and they paid the rent basically. So we, not that we needed rent because we were on the road full time. So we never had a house to live in or anything. But anyway, so I think when you've had to learn how to sing a lot of different types of cover songs that are whatever's top 10, we had to learn every day new songs. I think you get to find your own voice. Some people say it's harder to find your own voice after you've done a lot of cover songs, but we didn't do a cover song to sound like the song. We still did our own style to each song. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, okay. So since you said that, because I'm dying to know, because I interviewed someone else on the subject, right? She said you have to play cover songs to get people in the doors, and then you play originals. Why do you think that cover songs are so requested more than original songs? Or you just made it to answer the question, I don't know.
Well, I think to hone in you don't have to. I mean, In Excess never did cover songs.
Right.
They were just original band straight off the bat. But it took them years to get really famous. We toured with them once, and we were in Melbourne. Wow. And this is before they became big in America as well. And road crew always make the most money, right? Because so you've got to have the best sound guy, the best lighting guy.
Yeah.
So my road crew always made much more than us, the band, because I had to pay everything else out, the trucks, sound equipment, everything. And Michael Hutchins, after a gig one night, went up to my sound guy and said, "Can you buy me a burger? I'm starving. I've got no money." So until you make it big overseas, Australian rock bands make no money. It all goes back to the record label and to the venues and to agents. And, you know, you're always broke. I mean, I remember my boots, I used to have to put black gaffer tape all the way around my boots because they'd keep falling apart.
Oh, no. Yeah. Kind of make a...
Yeah, and I made the guys, I did all their hair, you know, like the 80s style, and made all their clothes and all that sort of stuff.
80s is like the best kind of music in the way that style was back then. You know, you
just tease the heck out of your hair.
There you go. Yes.
Black underneath and wear nothing else practically. I was very skimpy in my clothing.
Neon colors too, like
a lot of belts with studs and like you know, almost like a bikini with it, you know.
I always find myself laughing at like bands like Motley Crue now, you know, because the style was so different back then. You had them wearing like spandex and guyliner, and I'm like, oh my god, that's but it was the thing back then. So you know, we didn't know, so I really like the 80s.
All the guys in my band wore the parachute, you know, sort of pants, and then they wear
jumpers,
the lycra pants as well.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
I love that.
Hair.
So I'm curious, like when you were in the hospital, right, recovering, so terrible accident, and you hospital for months. So like when you were listening to music, do you think that music helped you heal? Obviously it probably does, because we're here talking about it, but what do you think that music like did to your body to help it heal and help your soul maybe heal too?
Yeah, good question. Well, what happened was I was in the truck driving from Brisbane to Sydney, which is like a 14-hour drive. And just as we hit Sydney, you know, because we drove straight after a gig to get to another gig in Sydney, and it's a long drive, and the truck driver fell asleep, and as a passenger all the musical equipment went into me.
Oh no.
So I was buggered. I mean, I was lucky the first 2 months to even live. Long operations. I wasn't listening to any music or anything, no. But what happened was people were putting on audio books, and for people that don't know what cassettes are, you can Google it.
I love cassettes.
Did you have to have a pencil to like in case it?
No. Surprisingly, cassettes are coming back now.
Yeah, so I always had a little cassette player. Whenever I got a song idea, I want to sing it onto the cassette, but I couldn't move my body or anything. So they were playing this positive stuff, and I couldn't turn it off because I couldn't move. And you know, when you're really depressed, I was so depressed, and I couldn't move, and I'm in traction. And I'm in so much agony. Every few minutes I pass out, literally. And so hearing this positive stuff, when you're in that vibration and they're putting on this positive stuff on, and I was like, what is all this motivational crap? I'm not into that. I don't need that. I'm a rock singer.
Yeah.
What is this rubbish? But one of the tapes was Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. And one of the chapters, with the beautiful voice of Earl Nightingale speaking the book, he talks about how Napoleon Hill's little infant son was born completely 100% deaf. And Napoleon Hill went into his little son's room every night and would say affirmations, auto-suggestion. You can hear perfectly. You are a beautiful boy. Everybody loves you and you love everybody. You're very intelligent and you hear perfectly. You listen well, you communicate. He went on to have 30% of his hearing by the time he was 3. Impossible. And so Napoleon Hill is explaining this auto-suggestion. You've got to say, he said, you've got to say a positive statement to yourself about yourself, and you've got to make it emotionalized so that it'll go into your subconscious mind. Now, neuroscientists now know that all of this is true, but this is a man who wrote this in the 1920s. And when it wasn't proven, you know, that this is actually how the mind sparks, short-term memory, long-term memory. Anyway, so, and he said, if you don't emotionalize it, your doubting mind will spit it out. So it'll never be planted as a positive seed to create healing. And so I said, I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend. None of those things were true. So I thought, great, I've got a good affirmation here. I want those things to be true. Right. But after a couple of weeks of saying it over and over again, my doubting mind just kept saying, no, this is BS. This is not working for me. I'm in too much emotional pain. I cannot emotionalize it. And then I had an epiphany, guys. I'm a singer-songwriter. You can't get a song out of your head, a pop song. So I thought if I just write I asked them to go out and look for some positive music for me with positive lyrics, but they couldn't find anything except James Brown, I Feel Good, which is still great. And it is an affirmation song when you think about it. I feel good and I knew that I would. So I just started writing them and singing them. I am healed, I know I am. I love myself, I am my friend. Over and over and over again onto this little cassette. And I listened to it all the time because I sung 60 minutes per side, just the same song.
Oh, wow.
And my everything felt better. I had positivity again. I'm going to be healed. I'm going to walk again properly. I don't care what they say. I am going to do this. Then I wrote another song, You Can Do It. And by the time I got out of the hospital, I was healed from my own affirmation music. I went into the studio and recorded just a little 8-track studio and recorded tons, wrote so many positive songs just to fill my own consciousness because I couldn't believe how quickly it was working. So that is how musivation or affirmation power songs became global success. Millions upon millions of people have downloaded my Magnet to Money song, which we've now got it on an app with morning meditations and affirmations with music. And so I've got over 400 songs, tons of albums to do with every area of your life, for healing, for success, for motivation, for little kids, self-esteem songs for kids, just so many. And that is how a new career started for me. I ended up touring the world with 𝗙𝗢𝗥𝗡, Wayne Dyer, Bob Proctor, lived in Malaysia for 5 years, ran Bob Proctor's business, ended up having hit songs, got my own bands there, singing in all these different languages in Asia. And it was just incredible. And I was making more money than I'd ever known in my life. It was just insane because the press found out about my healing in Australia. And that's how I was doing these interviews. I had no intention of selling these songs to people, but ever, because that wasn't cool. I mean, they're cute little songs, but they're not like fully big produced songs like I was used to doing in 24, 36 track studios. Anyway, so promoters started coming out of the woodwork saying, we want you to tour with 𝗙𝗢𝗥𝗡, Wayne Dyer, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know who you're talking about. I've never heard of these people.
I don't know. Yeah.
I do, but I'm in the mental health self-help kind of field. So
yeah, I didn't know who they were, but I toured around Australia with them because they offered me $5,000 a gig.
Wow.
And all I had to do was sing with backing music. And I was getting all the people up on stage dancing. In the first gig I did 3,500 people. And they said, and sell your CDs at the back of the room. And I thought, I'm going to make 500. It's probably way too much for the whole of Australia. By the midday break, all my CDs had been sold for the first gig. And I was like, this is insane. I just made more than I make in 3 years with my band. This is insane. And it was fun. And then Bob Proctor and 𝗙𝗢𝗥𝗡 and these people were saying, never seen anything like this. This is what we all teach: affirmations, visualization. And Bob Proctor was just insane with it. He loved it so much. He said, I want you to tour all over the world with me, do all the seminars. And we ended up writing songs together and doing books and products together. So, I mean, I still got bands together and I still record. I just finished an album, which I'm going to give away today, Create Miracles.
Nice. Powerful
affirmation songs to harmonize your life. And I've got one cover on there of See Me, Feel Me by The Who, because I love my version of See Me, Feel Me. I just think it's very spiritual and very healing. And I love Tommy, love the musical Tommy. But anyway, that's another story. So that's the only cover on that one, but it's a good cover. Well done. So that's how it all began. That's how I ended up working globally, 26 countries, doing big events, concerts and seminars. It was just great. And until I decided I wanted to find even more meaning in my life, I wanted to go off the grid and find God.
Yeah, totally.
You know, one of the things I talk to a lot of my clients about is that our voice is the one we hear the most, right? Because like we talk to ourselves in our heads while we're doing things. So like, I think it's extra powerful that it was you singing to yourself, and that you're listening to your words, not just in your head, but like that in the ether or whatever. So I'm wondering, like, is that, I know that like you talk a lot about manifestation and you have mantras and things like that. So what would you tell people who are like, maybe I'll just record my own voice with some of the great things that you have to say?
Yeah, of course they can. Yeah, I highly recommend people do that. But with my music, it's like a jingle. The left side of the brain is the lyrics, the affirmations. The right side of the brain is the melody. It goes straight into your subconscious mind. Your doubting mind doesn't have a chance to reject it, which is why advertising agencies spend billions a year on jingles.
Yes, they do.
You just have to listen to it. You don't even have to like the music, but you will.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but just, you know, when I do my events, everyone's singing it. We've got the lyrics up on a big screen. Everyone's just singing all these affirmation songs to themselves, and they end up getting so high because it brings your oscillation up so fast. Positive music. So even if you don't listen to my music, do something to listen to positive music. I don't know other people that do what I do, but I'm sure there must be by now, because I've been doing it since 1989.
long time, right? Yeah.
So, James, I'm just going to step in here. I have ADHD, so sometimes I really struggle with truly concentrating on things and like staying focused. And so people are like, oh, well, meditate. And I can't shut my brain off enough, it feels like, to meditate the way I think it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but you need a spiritual teacher who's awakened to teach you meditation. I was off the grid for 10 years with an enlightened teacher, and meditation is extremely difficult. If enlightenment and an awakening and meditation, which can take you into the deepest planes of exquisite bliss and not this world, different dimensions, it's incredible, but it takes years. And it also, to have an enlightened teacher transmit that light to help your kundalini come up. I don't know anyone who can just stop their thoughts without proper training. And it's just that I had to love this heart glow. I didn't know what it was. And so I was on a mission to find a teacher who was enlightened. And it took me 14 years to find one. Wow. But I did. And I went off the grid, didn't do anything except study, meditate for 10 years until I was awakened. And now I've got students all over the world. But the thing I love about this Magnet to Money app, it only costs a cup of coffee a month to have it. And I've recorded tons, just 8-minute morning meditations, which just take you through one word you're going to focus on for the day. That's going to be your word of the day, like serenity or peace or joy or wealth or whatever it is. And so I just take you through that. And at the end, it's just 3 minutes of silence with just some nice music underneath. And everybody loves that because then they find it easy to do. Whereas if you automatically just try to sit down and stop your thoughts, you go crazy because there's
Right.
there's too many thoughts. It takes a long time, but it's worth it if you really want to have a quiet mind.
So what you're saying is that it's possible, practice, don't give up, and just trust that your brain will quiet once you teach it enough and practice enough.
Yeah, just find a teacher who can teach it, really transmit it. You don't go to a piano player who can't play piano.
Oh,
Right. Yeah.
Right?
no. Yes.
I do have a question though. So can you do too much meditation, as in, like, I'm sure like people have like big egos, right? And have you heard of them having big egos along with like meditating too much, or is that a thing? Or can
No, it's the opposite.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
good. Okay.
meditation, the ego hates meditation.
Okay.
It gets frustrated. It gets annoyed. It doesn't want to die. And as your beautiful diamond becomes clearer and clearer from all those emotional things and things that you're connected to from the past, as that becomes clearer, the mind becomes quiet. And the mind does not, the ego, which is the mind really, doesn't like that quiet. It thinks it's dying, and it is. And it gets really pissed off. So there'll be many times during meditation where you're just going, great, wow, I didn't think for a while, and I'm just starting to feel so intensely peaceful and joyful and grateful. And then the thought comes in, oh, you're not worthy, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then you got to like, oh my God, when is this going to finish? You think you're just really improving, and then it starts up again. But it's very, very challenging, but it's worth every moment of it. Definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because there's I guess daydreaming goes along with that too, because my friend says you know when she daydreams, her mind goes a mile a minute, and she asks me what I think about when I daydream. I'm like, I don't think about anything. She's like, wow, you got to teach me how to do that. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Yeah, because some people can just turn off their mind, and some people struggle with that too, right?
Yeah, it depends. It's like athletes go into what happens when you originally start stopping your thought. You go into the zone where you just, where time literally stops. Because this is timelessness. We've created time. Time isn't real. It's not real. The organic body ages and gets wrinkles and stuff because it's organic, but it doesn't mean that your consciousness never ages. It's forever. It just goes around and around and around to the next body, the next body, the next body, if that's what you believe in, because I do, because I've experienced it. But it's infinite and it's simple. I always just say to people, if you're getting into a topic of spirituality and positive thinking and healing and getting out of depression, can I just say a quick thing because I think it'll be really good for your show?
Please.
One of the things that I write in one of my books, I explain very, very clearly what a dark night of the soul is compared to depression, because you want people to be healed of depression and feeling bad. Your show is beautiful. It's all about that. So a dark night of the soul is when you're going into higher and higher states of consciousness and your diamond is being cleaned. So all of a sudden you can remember the shit you've done to other people, and it feels like crap. And so a dark night of the soul is when you feel bad about something in the past that you didn't even think you'd remembered, and all of a sudden it comes up. Your shadow sides come up to be healed, and so they come up. But when you're depressed, it's all about you. I'm not worthy. I feel bad. I'm broke. How am I ever going to be healed? Depression, like I was in the hospital. Yeah. But a dark night of the soul is actually healing, because you get an opportunity for the first time with many people to face your shadow side. It's positive thinking isn't all about, oh, I've got to stay away from the negative people or I'll be infected. No, you've got to be able to face any fear head on so that you can get over it.
Well, and I think very much that like you talked about those messages or whatever, those dark things that we don't consciously know, those can just get in our way. They somehow like sometimes have that voice that we don't know where it came from, or there's something, right, that's in us that we don't really know where it came from, and until we identify it, it sticks with us. But when you identify it,
yeah, a dark night of the soul is very, very simple. You remember something bad you did to someone else, even if it was just a lady in the grocery store when you were 4, maybe you kicked her in the shins. It'll all come back to you. It's always about what you've done to put hurt onto somebody else, even if it was only when you were a child. It's not a feeling of depression at all. That's it. It's really keep it simple and spiritual.
I love it.
Okay, so my next question for you is, okay, so I have a friend who is trying to meditate to progress further in his life. He's like reading the Bible, talking to himself, positive thoughts. But lately he's been getting kind of annoyed at himself, like he says like things aren't going his way, the way that he thought right now. Talking about manifesting. So what are some good ways to stay focused and not go up the straight path for him and for anybody?
Yeah, it's very, very challenging, which is why we created recently the world's first manifestation video book.
Yes,
because we think in pictures.
Right.
So the way we've done it, I wrote the book first, Manifestation Through the Power of Mysticism, and all the different topics are covered that you'd ever want to know about with manifestation and mysticism, and the simplicity of it. Simplicity of, what is true intuition versus ego, all these different things that people aren't clear about. And I write it in a very, very simple way. So then we did the audio book, and then we created visuals on a video to go with each chapter, and all these amazing visuals. So you're listening to my voice, you're reading along because it's transcribed as well. And then at the end of every chapter, there's a music video with one of my affirmation songs that goes with the message of the music. So that way it's working 300 times faster to go into your consciousness, for you to begin manifesting. People, best-selling authors, all of these people that I know are just raving on. They're saying, this is the way people are going to learn languages and everything from now on. Do video books, because all of your senses are being filled up. You can't think of anything else. You can't let yourself go down a rabbit hole of, this shit isn't working for me. Even if you just watch a chapter per day, people love watching movies and visuals, and especially when it's something so positive and you're like, wow, okay. And there's this chapter on, are you a mystic? And questions are asked, and you're like, I think I am a mystic. This guy said the other day, there was video, and he's like, I didn't even realize I was a mystic. I'm definitely a mystic.
Right.
I never listen to what anyone's ever told me. I always do my own thing. I don't give a shit about what other people think. I'm a mystic.
I think Amanda loves you more and more now.
I do. I'm like, there's so many reasons. But like, what will, and I guess people should listen to your book and read, listen, watch.
And watch, all
the things.
Everything.
All of them at the same time to like understand what a mystic is and what mysticism is. But I know that
everything,
all of that. And I know that for me, I retain knowledge the best when I didn't realize that I could do video as well. That should or could be a possibility. But if I'm reading a book, I also will listen to the audio book at the same time.
Yes, that is very,
because for me, it's like the hearing and the visual, like there's that connection. So I can imagine
the video book. You've got the link.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna start.
You're gonna love it, because people that can't focus, and it's like, and a lot of people can't focus because there's so much going on in the world, and we're so used to going down those rabbit holes, particularly since the internet. I mean, kids never get off their phones.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was born in the late 50s, so I've been through. We didn't have.
Yes.
We only had dial-up phone.
Right. And, I think James and I both were kind of that generation that, high school was mostly analog, like we had the computers, but in the classrooms, not really at home. But then by the time
I remember having a landline phone in the house. We never heard of a cell phone before,
Well, I remember my dad had a cell phone, but it was one of those that was like in the bag,
like a brick,
and that it was like $5 a minute, and his secretary, when he would call to ask a question or whatever, she had the timer on her phone, and she'd be like, "Oh no, like we've got 15 more seconds. You're gonna pay for it whether we talk or not." So like anything else,
right.
but now
I had
like
a huge one in Malaysia, but it was only worked in the car. It was a car phone.
Okay, yeah.
Those were
Huge, big antenna.
It was well, and now it's like
let me just talk to you.
Yeah, right. It's leaning up.
I'll just pick up the phone.
Right,
I've got to do my sit-ups to be able to pick up.
I know.
Gotta do some bicep workout,
It's so funny. My mom has a master's in computer science that she got in the 70s. And then she worked in computer security for Fortune 100 companies. And we joke now that like the server rooms that were bigger than my home, like could process less like information than like your cell phone now.
I know.
And so I don't think people realize like truly how far like we've come.
All the tapes running, these big machines.
Oh, I know. But like you said, it's makes it more difficult to disconnect because we're always
always
available.
Yeah.
And we're always available.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not.
No. Good.
I am so not. I don't have cell phone or anything on. I live in solitude with all the animals, and but I do live in a house, not outside with the animals. And that this is what I wanted to manifest, something absolutely serene and beautiful. I didn't say where in the world it would be, but I teach everyone step by step how to go from here to there to there. So you don't start feeling like it's too much to do all at once. I like to keep things simple. I left school when I was 15. I'm a simple person. So I like to learn things, like every time I'm learning, when I first started learning computer, because I never had one. The first book I wrote, I didn't know how to type because we didn't have that school computers or anything.
Yep.
Didn't have computers until 1992, I guess. First one I got. When I created my first website was 1992. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, I had to go from Kuala Lumpur to San Francisco and pay this lady $5,000 to do 3 pages of a website.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a lot back then.
We didn't have a shopping cart for my music, so people had to send me a check and I would then mail it to them. So I'd have to go back to Sydney to get the checks at the post office. It was crazy.
Oh, my God.
And now everything's e-products, it's so awesome. I love it.
Yeah, there's always good pros and cons to like the digital format now.
Yeah, but it's still pretty good because we've got apps too that are amazing and positive and so inexpensive for people to get all this wonderful positive information. Even the video book we've just created that as an app as well for people that prefer to watch the videos on their phone.
Nice.
And that's the thing too, is now with like all of the digital things, you can carry that book and like you have the book and the TV and the tape player all in one that you can take with you instead of needing a whole hiking backpack to get all of the books and right with you. So that's like one of the great things, but I think that for me, I know it can be distracting when I look at it. So I would love it if you would just take a minute and like, what is manifestation? Like when you say that, like what does that mean to manifest something?
Well, we don't actually manifest. We've got a higher self. We can call the divine, call it your spirit. It is the creator of everything, everyone. And we have been given all of this power within ourselves. But when people are attempting to create wealth or success in their life, they don't understand. They get frustrated like your friend did because I'm doing this, I'm reading the Bible, I'm doing affirmations, and they feel like they're just a hair's breadth away from having that thing come to fruition. that they really want. They may be taking massive action and doing the work. But if their oscillation is here and, their frequency, because that's a fact now too, we have this frequency, and the thing that you want is at this frequency. Well, obviously you have to get up to that frequency to experience that type of success, because what you're seeking is seeking you, and that could be negative or positive. So the whole idea originally, the affirmation music works so fast because you just have to listen to it in the car or just while you're vacuuming or whatever you want to do. Just listen to it. I've even got a special sleep program with music underneath, which is part of the Magnet to Money app, where I'm saying these amazing things about you as you're sleeping. So you wake up, oh, feeling pretty good today, because your oscillation has gone up. Right. So the diamond keeps becoming clearer and clearer, and people don't understand what true intuition is because they can't feel their spirit because it's clogged. It's just clogged. So all of these different tools, visualization, the apps, what you guys teach, and music, and all of these things are there to help clean the diamond when you can't do it yourself. It's like the mind knows, and it will. It's like the Buddha said it 2,500 years ago. We are what we think. Everything we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Thoughts are things. Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. What changed my entire life was knowing that what he was saying was true. I can do a positive thought. I know I've willed myself to have a successful band. I've worked my guts out, but I know I use my willpower as well. It's the same thing. I've just got to affirm this is going to happen. And that's how, when I was really getting into it, I realized everything that I'd manifested or the divine through my thoughts, because, it was me just like, that's happening. I'm going to get that drummer from that band. He's not going to be in that band anymore. It's going to be mine. He would be. So I always had a certain amount of power with my thoughts. But then after that, it was just, there was no stopping it, which is why I decided to go off the grid, get rid of the ego, get rid of all the stuff, and just focus on spiritual stuff. But I love when people get to experience wealth and happiness and get all the stuff that they want, so that then they can focus within. Nice. Because that's when true healing and beauty happens. Because if you're all of the time concerned about not being a magnet to money, you don't have any money, well, then you can't focus on healing or spiritual things. And it's very hard to get out of your little pity parties. And that's very, pity parties are depression. And that is when horrible things start happening in your body, because you can get sick and you can have different things happen. But it's like, once you get rid of the sickness from your mind, well then, and everyone's got sickness in their mind. Most people are assholes to themselves and they don't even realize it. We've got to get rid of that asshole mentality.
I love that word.
Yes.
Start loving your spirit, from your little finger, even if it's bent ones like these, whatever it is, be grateful for what, like, I don't use the word grateful really. I like the word thank you. Because when you go to a restaurant, you don't say, oh, I'm grateful for this cup of tea you just brought me. You just go, thank you.
Right. Yeah.
So thank you. So you say, if you wake up every morning and just first thing, have a big poster in front of your bed. Thank you, divine, for my beautiful life. Or thank you, eternity or love or whatever you choose to call the divine. Thank you, life, for my beautiful life.
There you go.
And then start thinking about a beautiful life. You're focusing on a beautiful life then. And that makes such a difference. Your attitude changes. You start smiling at people you don't know. And they probably just think you had a really good night the night before, but it's because you were meditating.
Right, exactly.
So when somebody says, oh, the lights are on, but nobody's home, instead of thinking it's a blonde joke, I now can say, thank you, I've been meditating.
That's right. Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that listening, the intuition, but also listening to your higher power or God or the universe or whatever. And, I think James knows this, but that's why I'm still alive, is because I heard a voice. For me, it was the Holy Spirit that said, I'm not done with you yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
As I was planning my suicide, I heard, I'm not done with you yet. And that was almost 8 years ago now. And that's why I'm here. And so
you got me.
If I hadn't listened to that, this Holy Spirit say, I'm not done with you yet, I genuinely would not be speaking to you. My children would have lost their mother 7.5 years ago. And that's the thing is, like, with our intuitions too, when we stop trusting it, there's so much that we miss out on. And so, like, that's because I don't know, and Michele, you may think differently, but I think the intuition is not just our gut, right? But it's God.
It's not
right. It's like God. It's God speaking through us
Directly,
in some way.
Right.
No, it's but you got me, Amanda. I'm just hugging you right now. I love
yes,
you so
I
much.
got her.
I love
In a
you
good
so
way.
much.
In a good way. Yeah.
You got me. Oh shit.
Yeah.
So glad
So-
to hear. I'm so glad I got to meet you. I mean,
I'm glad I got to meet you too. I'm glad I'm
Yeah.
here.
No, it's
So-
okay. A gut feeling is usually ego. It's like, I just know in my guts I've got to go on that trip to Paris. Everyone else is going, I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's not willpower. It's not a strong emotion at all. And I have had voices like, the first voice I ever had said, son, I love you, in this deep voice like 𝗟𝗢𝗥𝗡 or something. I'm wide awake and I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
It's during the day. But anyway, that was just something, the first big thing. But before that, it's just a still small feeling. Like, it's not like once it said, turn left, when I normally turned right out of this shopping center. And if I hadn't followed it, I would have gone into this lady who backed out of the driveway without looking. She would have gone into me, into my car.
Yeah.
So she went into someone else's car though.
Oh, no, that's not
who
good.
went that way.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah.
my intuition wasn't for that. They weren't hurt or anything. But I'm just saying, it's so small and subtle. It's not emotional at all. After something like that happens, you might feel a little emotional, like, thank God I listened to that.
Right.
It's very, very subtle. And it is, and I think of it this way. It's like, if you can hear that, if you can follow that, that means that your higher self is screaming at you. You haven't been listening. It's like, oh my God, thank God at last. Can you believe Gabriel saying to Michael that at last she's listening?
Right,
I know
yeah.
it's taken about 40 years.
Taking her so long to do it. Yeah.
But I guess,
Taking
but
enough
then
time.
that's that like meditation, or like it's learning how to be quiet enough to hear
Right.
that.
Exactly. Yeah. That is true.
That's what quietening the mind does. Your intuition becomes extremely powerful. You know what to do and when to do it. And you don't manifest anymore things that are required for your happiness to show up.
Yeah.
Or you just get an idea, oh, I've got to get this new car now. And you don't look at the logic of it. It might be because the other one was going to break down somewhere. It doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
I've got to fill up my tank of petrol with petrol now. And then you find out something would have happened and you couldn't get petrol otherwise the next day.
Right.
Because you snowed in or something. I don't know. But it's just every time something like that happens. And my students, like one of my students is a truck driver. And she said she's had, since she's been a student, so many nearly close mishaps because she's got, I've got to pull over now. She doesn't argue with it anymore. And then something happens up the road a bit. She's got this big truck she's driving. She's an amazing woman. But anyway, I'm just saying everyone has the power to be able to know what to do. Not to feel egotistical about, I know what to do. No, but to know you're being guided from on high. It is nothing to do with your gut.
Right.
And everything to do with being still and listening.
Yes, you beautiful.
Not necessarily
Amanda,
with your,
you.
not just your ears, but like your heart, listening with your soul
Yes.
and trusting.
Yes. It's all about the love.
It is. All love here. Yeah.
All the love.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yes.
love.
So Are you ready for the hardest question that I'm going to ask you tonight?
What am I going to give you away for free?
No. Well, we're going to get to that in just a minute, but I got one more question for you. This might be the hardest question for tonight or ever. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So, okay, so when you are depressed, you know, is there either a song, artist, or album that you can listen to right now, but you can't tell me or Amanda or any of your band members, mom and dad, how it makes you feel deep inside your soul?
Oh gosh. The only time I've really been depressed is when I was in the hospital.
I mean, like when you feel down and out, and you know, I mean,
because I never do now.
Yeah.
Because I'm awakened.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to think. Oh wow.
Yeah. Hard
I
question.
guess
Right?
if I was,
See,
You stumped her.
see, I told you.
What's like your?
it is a hard question because I don't. It's I was a happy kid.
Oh, okay.
Always singing and.
Let me rephrase it. If someone else is depressed and has no, who would you recommend them to listening to?
Oh, Monty Python.
Oh, okay, yeah, Monty Python.
I love that.
I love
the bright side of life.
Right. Yeah, that's
Life
great.
of Brian, the
All
Silly
of them.
Walk with John Cleese. I mean, just watch. I think the quickest way is to watch humor.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Just
Because-
watch something.
Yeah.
Songs are great, of course. Listen to
'cause-
happy songs.
Because laughter is the best
like,
medicine.
I also love. I play it sometimes for my students. Everything is awesome. From the Lego Movie.
Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Everything is awesome.
Yes, I love it.
So
Yes.
Happy
That's-
by Farrell. I love those songs. But mainly for me, I just love silly humor from England because I'm Australian, I guess. But
Yeah.
I just love Monty Python. And I can be there with people, annoy the hell out of them if they were
Right. Yeah.
verbatim with every
word,
every line of
them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Monty
Come
Python's
back here, you
great.
bastard.
Yeah.
But you've got no legs. I'll
Oh.
bite your kneecaps off.
Really a flesh wound or something, right? Jesus,
Yes.
God Almighty. Yeah. So.
My
Okay, so
favorite is I think the Silly Walk with John Cleese.
okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
Which everyone in America started doing in lockdown. They had these places where begin your silly walk now.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
And people are going to walk down the footpath. And I was like, America's getting it at last. Yay.
Yes,
John Cleese
we all
magic.
we all need that fun humor, goofiness.
we do.
Yeah.
in our
Especially
lives.
nowadays. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, even though I never, sometimes I've sort of gone a little disco, but I just love 70s disco because the lyrics are positive. The music's all real. None of it is.
None of it. Yeah. Right. None of it's
I mean,
digital. You're right,
real
yeah.
brass sections, and like I've got like my one I did with Kino from Big Mountain. We got Phil Collins brass section. In America, you can get the best musicians when you're producing a song, because when they're not on tour, they're in the studio working for other people.
Right.
I couldn't believe it.
That's
All good
awesome.
stuff.
Carlos Santana's conga player I had on that because it's a Latin American song. But anyway, amazing.
Awesome. So, Michelle, you said that you were going to give something away
Yes,
to our listeners. So,
if you guys go to Michele Blood, Michele, Blood, BLOOD.com, and Blood is not a rock singer's name. It is my real name. Blame my father. It's Irish. Music Speaks. MichelleBlood.com/music speaks. And my latest album, Create Miracles, Powerful Affirmation Songs to Harmonize Your Life. It's got, names of the songs are great. It's like Divine Love, Miracles Are Happening to Me. I Am Healed. I Am Perfect. I Forgive. The Joy of Living. I Am Love. I'm Never Lonely. I Have Perfect Relationships. I Greet the Day with Love in My Heart. Hands of God. We Found Love. And See Me, Feel Me is on there. But this must be an old cover from like a month ago.
Oh,
I just
okay.
added "See Me, Feel Me." Anyway, and also you're going to get a book. Bob Proctor left the body last year, but this is a book that we wrote called New Paradigms. Bob Proctor and Michele Blood. You're going to get the E version of that. You're going to get the E version of this too.
Yeah.
And you're also going to get one of the chapters that I think is a really good introduction to the video book, which is 6 steps to achieving your goals and your big vision. Very small little steps. Because if you can get into that video chapter and think, oh, wow, that's going to really guide me, and I'm looking at all these positive things to start being a little more persistent and taking action. So I think that's a really nice one for, you don't have to be into mysticism or spirituality or anything. It will just help you finish a book, write a website, finish a song. I don't know.
Anything you want to do, like
anything. Yeah.
Anything.
So you're going to get all that for free.
Well,
that is awesome.
We honestly thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for the free stuff for our listeners and viewers. And I'm definitely gonna watch that video book and see what it can do for me. And I'm sure
watch, listen, read all the things. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited because I'm like, as my brain never always gets distracted. And it's like, how can I be distracted if I'm listening and reading and watching one thing? It's all of the.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see like how it changes my life.
I just didn't know no one had done it like that before. And I started Googling and looking it around, and some people were calling what they had a video book, but it was just them doing a seminar.
Yeah.
It's
not
this.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It just came to me in meditation. Everything that I've ever created comes in the silence. When I'm writing a song, it's because my mind was quiet. I'm thinking, I've got to write a new song. We've got to have another album done. So you go into the silence. That's how scientists have been doing it for hundreds of years. They go into a blackened room, pen and paper, and they say, I want to create a new thing, even if they don't know what the thing's going to be. Or they're working out some chemical combination and they haven't come up with any new ideas. And then it comes to them, sitting in the dark, in the silence. And then, thank you, whoever you are.
Yeah, it's amazing how it works sometimes, you know. And you never know when you get inspiration or clarification the next moment in life, you know.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, next time, if you like, I can come on again and we can.
Oh, please do. We would love to have you back.
We can do some songs.
Yes, actually,
I would love that.
We do.
We'll get just the backing music, and we'll get everyone can sing along to the affirmation songs, because the affirmations are so short and sweet.
We can totally do that. Yeah.
Me too. We're short. Yay!
I'm 5 foot nothing.
I like to say I'm 5'2", and then my kids go, in heels. And I'm like,
shut up. Like, shut up,
Oh
kid.
no, I'm 5 foot, at least 5'5" in my heels.
I can't walk if I wear heels like that, but no, both of my kids are like, we're taller than you. And I'm like, didn't take much.
Well, this is why I loved living in Malaysia so much, because I was actually a voluptuous average size woman.
Oh, right.
At 90 pounds wet, soaking wet.
That's yes.
Well, back in the day.
Yes. So we do definitely want you to come back for anytime, any hour, any day you want to come back. Please come back.
Yeah, we can just do a little get them to experience the affirmation songs for themselves, and I can take them through a meditation as well.
Cool.
I would love that personally. Just me.
Just her, right?
Just me by myself. I'll take it.
No, I think you guys are awesome, and I love what you're doing. And Blake, if you're watching this later, love you too, even though I don't know you yet.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
Yeah,
he's
awesome,
got such great energy too. I'm so grateful.
Well, I just think the whole idea of what you're doing is amazing, and I love you guys. I think it's great.
Well, we love you.
Thank you for having me on your awesome show. And
my mom is very fond of your name because I told her I was interviewing Michele Blood, and she says, "Oh my God, is that her real name?" I'm like, "Yes, that's her real name." She thinks that.
Oh it's Irish.
You're right. Yeah. She loves your name.
I love you. I'm so excited to like, because here's the thing is now I've always told myself, well, I can't meditate because I've tried and I can't quiet things. And now I think like,
now you're able
maybe
to.
I just try a little bit, listen, be patient with myself, not beat myself up if I don't get it right.
Get the money out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Go through the morning meditations. You don't have to do them in the morning. Just see how different it feels, and you'll feel the energy coming through that I send you when you're doing it too. People
I'm so excited.
So,
and I will just say, I think energy, like I can send you energy. You're in California, I'm in Texas, and like I can send you energy, and you will like feel it.
Yes,
of course.
Like you don't like. It doesn't matter that there's thousands of miles and buildings and mountains. It's because it's just, I don't know. I love energy like that.
Well, because we're a tapestry, we're a golden tapestry, we're all connected. So the minute, it's like people, oh my God, I can't believe you called me. I was about to call you. Of course, everyone's psychic. Everyone feels the thoughts from other people. You walk into a room and people were fighting, you'll feel it. You walk into a room where people were laughing, you'll feel it.
Right? Yeah, that's true. So,
yes.
So everybody listening to this, to audio or video, thank you for listening. And Michele, we honestly do love you to death. Please come back anytime you want to. And always remember, when words fail,
music speaks.
Bye, guys.
Before you go, please, if you want to receive some amazing high vibrational success meditation, tons and tons of free products, go to micheleblood.com/links.